Yes. 他来了，他进来了。
Okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Rotem.
Shalom. Hello.
Oh, my camera is doing weird thing.
His name is Hanoch. He's a big
Abba.
Abba?
About yeah. So shall we?
Yes.
Program.
I will ask the first question.
So your film is about Shabbat, and actually Shabbat is quite unfamiliar to us. Could you describe it a little bit?
Sure. It's like the day of rest. It's a day that all the stores in Israel are closed. It depends on how religious is the city. Jerusalem, the city is dead. For me, growing up in Tel Aviv, Shabbat in Jerusalem was new. I mean, the feeling of it, the horn at the beginning of the movie is also like a new thing.
So
that's Shabbat.
what are you not allowed to do in Shabbat?
I mean, the really religious ones don't cook, don't like use any electric devices, don't drive their car, don't. But I am secular, and all of my friends are secular, so we just rest.
Could you talk about the characters? How did you came up with these main characters?
I didn't understand it while I was writing it, but I think the main character is based off me. Her friend is like a version of like all of my gay closest friends.
Okay.
It was weird understanding that I actually wrote myself because everyone in class it was very clear to them that it's actually me.
And what about the story at the end? Like the girl said that she was hit by she ran over by. Was that true?
Yeah, it happened to me actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because on set, I was having a really hard time directing that scene because the kiss was not working, and beforehand, I asked them, "Do you wanna practice the kiss?" And they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't need to practice the kiss. It will be fine." Yeah, and then it was not working, and I remember taking them aside and telling them, first of all, practicing the kiss on set. The other thing is I took Noga, which is the lead. I told her the story without the other actor listening. What you see on camera is the first time he hears like the whole story.
אני מרגישה איתו בנוח. אבל הוא לא ישאל איך לגעת. בבוקר הוא שוב ישאל אותי איך ישנתי. ואני אגיד שמעולה.
So I'm Rotem. I finished school. Since then, I'm more focused now on documentary. Like this is my thing.
Oh.
This film that we're talking about, it's the one and only film I directed as a director, like a fictional film. It's a really unique film for me because it feels super like a tryout, a test, a personal thing I was trying. At school with the graduation film, we need to write a story, and I really like writing, but I don't like screenwriting at all. So I wrote a story, which was like, it's a story you can film. I thought that my school wouldn't like say, okay, do that film, because the screen was experimental and different. It's like, what the fuck is this? And they told me, we're not sure what you want to do it with this. It seems like you have it in your mind, so give it a try. So the first script was actually kind of like a shooting script. Because I came from cinematography, I thought, okay, I just need to close my eyes and envision and imagine like the shots. And then I tried to compound this and literature story. And then when we started to work on the film, it became more the thing it is. Yeah.
Right.
How did you write these two different conversations? One is for the intimate people with dialogue, and one is just for the main character herself.
On set, I knew like what sentences I would like to hear, and we did timing with everything, but it changes. And also in editing, it was like, okay, we have this, and what are we going to do with it now? Maybe a bit similar to documentary, where you always live the film and not like write the script, go out and shoot it, and then edit it. So yeah.
So could you talk about the title again and more detail?
I think that the film is trying to convey the essence of like being honest with yourself and not always say to yourself, to other people, like, no, I'm fine, everything's fine, and like being autopilot. I thought that if the film is like, this film is a reminder, then the audience can ask like, a reminder for what? Like, what can I take from this film? Like a reminder to always ask myself, like, how do I really feel and what do I really want to say?
We asked how many drafts did you have in the editing process?
At the editing?
Yeah.
I don't know, so many. Also in writing and also in editing. It was like trying different things all the time. And sometimes I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. And then on the next day, it's like, no, I don't know. And now when I'm looking back at it, I think it's amazing that I could like be so confused and lost and trying to find my way. It wasn't that fun, but it was a very creative experience. Yeah.
خلاص
يسمعني ولا بعمل
لقاكي
من بلا
لا وت
لا بسجى
أجوتي إيه أجوتي
هاكم تسولي ودلتنو يلا ترنو عمت والو نبرنا نولم عبات كلኛ ብሎ ነው ላንተ ብሎ እኮ ነው ግባ ተምታደ ግባ ብል ተቤት ና ልጅ ናግባ ተቤት
My name is Salomon Chekol. I was born in Ethiopia, and in 4 years old I do Aliyah. Aliyah is like Jewish can come back to Israel. It's like in the law. You understand?
So that Aliyah is you can do it anytime, or it was at that time there was this
No, anytime. And we come to Israel. Now I'm like 23, 24 years here.
What inspired you to make this story?
I think in my life, I know my father and my parents want to make good thing for us. The father saves the money for the family, and I think it's like mental. The young boy is like the new generation. It's think about now. It's not.
Yes.
It's not have afraid about the money, about something.
Mm-hmm.
But the parents, they come from Ethiopia. They do many ways to come to Israel, this country, and now they don't have a language. They don't have jobs, so they're afraid. And he think I need to put the money inside and don't to share it now. So I think the parents have a mentality like a slavery. The parents want to help you, but in the same time they are don't give you the way to grow up.
Right. Can you tell us a little more about the holiday?
Pesach is the story of Exodus.
Exodus
is when Hebrew, the Israeli people, get out from Egypt, from the slavery, and Moses.
Yes.
We celebrate we go from slavery in Egypt to freedom. I find connection with this holiday and to my story. For me, it's like the same story.
Yeah.
But in the different times.
Yes.
The holiday say, it's not only you get out from Egypt. He say you get out from mental slavery.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit more about being an Ethiopian Israeli?
I don't know what to say. It's not easy situation,
Right.
Because, you know, people sometimes your religion and your color is not go together. And sometimes people, you have racism.
So do you feel like that there's maybe like a discrimination towards people with color in Israel now?
You know, I think it's gonna be there every year, every time. And it's okay for me because it's not okay, but it's normal. I think the big problem for me is like sometimes we don't have connection with our parents. And we not have historic to be strong.
Yes.
I think, you know, if you white and you say, you're black, it's okay. But if you black and you don't know your history, it's the problem. So I think the big problem is at home with our parents. Because my parents don't tell me about my family and the traditionals and the historic. They come to Israel and be quiet, you know. You need to be like everybody here. Yeah, don't make problem because you're not
kick you
strong
out.
enough with this system, with these people.
Okay.
Wow.
And for my generation, it's problem because we think we have the rights and the voice to fight with the racism or stuff like this, you know.
Yes.
I think the problem we need to know our.
Vou te vender 4 checas.
Não.
Arba checa. Quase que eu caio da cama.
What are some of the biggest difference between Brazil and Israel, and how did you feel when you first came to the country?
Here people screamed a lot at each other.
Screams?
Everybody wants to prove that they are right. Because in Brazil, like if you scream at each other, like imagine the people who fight, and here they never fight, but they just scream a lot at each other, and it was shocking. In Brazil, people are more warm with each other, like they smile a lot, they were like more look in the eye, and here people are like more kind of more aggressive. Israel was like a different place, a place that not every time I felt comfortable inside. When I started to do documentaries, I realized that I was liking to be in this place. I was finding beauty in places that before I didn't. So entering the documentary filmmaking really helped me, like also as an immigrant, like as to feel good in the foreign place.
How did you find Georgia and Miguel, and why did you want to film their story?
Okay. So in the beginning, I wanted to do a film about the Brazilian way of immigration in Israel. I wanted to do like a more general frame about like this way. I found Georgia and Miguel, and after a moment like filming them, I realized that okay, maybe I need only to focus on, and it's like they two against the world, and they are together, and like doesn't matter how hard it's like life and the surroundings. And in the summer vacations of my school, I asked permission to take equipment for the whole summer. I would spend all the time with them, all the time. And I was super close to them.
That really explains why it was like the cameraman didn't exist at all. And so for a while, I actually thought it was a fake documentary.
She thought it was a feature film, instead of like a documentary.
I thought they were just really, really good actors. Because how did they not notice the camera? It was crazy for me. And how did you all those like intimate moments?
I think that's a compliment. And a lot of people actually like they thought that's a fiction film, like it's a documentary film. And I really like that. I think the borders between like fiction and documentary is like more a blur every day. In the beginning, didn't know what I want, so I was just filming the most like boring stuff. They know when I was holding the camera, I didn't exist, and they got really used. And yeah, we spent a lot of time. I think I helped her a lot from my perspective. I gave her a lot of like tips, and also Miguel, like, he started to see me as an like older brothers. And I'm still like my family all live in Brazil, so I'm aware of them. So I kind of felt like part of their family in a way.
How did Georgia and Miguel feel about this documentary?
For me, it's always like a really scary moment, the moment that the first time the characters are gonna watch the film, because it's a lot of responsibility, and you build like a trusting relationship, and they know it's like my view on them. I show them and they really, really liked it. But the first reaction of Miguel, it was, you film us for 1 year and the film is like 16 minutes. And the first time it was screened for like real like public, people bought tickets to watch this, which was crazy. And Miguel was sitting next to me, and he knew like for example, I put a shot after another that I filmed a couple of months before, and he said, they don't know that you filmed this 2 months before. It was like, and don't explain to me, keep the magic of it. So I was just watching his reaction. I didn't look at the screen at all. I was just watching him be like amazed by seeing himself in the big screen with people. And then after the screening, we went to have lunch together, and people were talking to them, and they felt like kind of celebrities, and they, you're from the film. They didn't know I was the director, and it was like just staring from like, it was amazing, and they felt like really celebrities.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I will miss you, Laura.
I don't go anywhere.
Ariel said you go to school tomorrow.
I'm really happy to participate. I wish I could be there in person.
Oh yeah, we wish that too. It would be so much fun.
We usually have that in the past, but not this year.
Yeah, because of
COVID-19. So
yeah,
I've read that you have been involved in agriculture in your personal experience. Can you tell us more about it? Why did you choose this as the theme?
Yes. So I grew up in a kibbutz, the same kibbutz where we shot the film. It's a very interesting social structure. It's a collaborative kibbutz. It's a community unique to Israel. And such communities were established in Israel starting from the late 20s, and they were based on agriculture as a sacred value and on other socialist values like sharing and equality. And it reflected by a system of a shared communal education. Until the late 80s, children used to sleep at children houses in kibbutzes, and work has been an integral part of the communal education. Children began working at a very early age, became a very skilled and essential workforce for the kibbutz. In a lot of cases, children who didn't get along in school dropped out and joined the kibbutz workforce as an alternative framework to the school. Child labor in kibbutzes was recently outlawed in Israel, and that's the background story of the film. I myself, I worked at the kibbutz fishery ever since I was 12 years old because I grew up in a kibbutz and it was an obligation. And I thought it was an interesting way to show this very unique way of life through the eyes and the point of view of a girl who was formed under these values and lived in this very special community.
How did you went to study cinema since you have this background?
I guess I was always a curious person. I'm proud to say that during the time I was working there, I used to stop and think to myself that this is extraordinary. All this situation is very special and I need to do something with it. And I did.
What is the most memorable part in the making of this film?
I think that shooting the film in the kibbutz was really special because all of the kibbutz members were really eager to participate in the film. And the plot of the film is pretty minimal. So I remember that on set, the kibbutz member came to me and said that who would want to see that? So nothing interesting really happened.
They said that?
Yes, very and
honest.
But the very cultural reality of the kibbutz is really, really interesting for those who looked at it from the outside.
Did you show the film to them, and how's their reactions like?
It was important to me to figure out whether I got the experience accurately, because I didn't want to romanticize anything, and I wanted to be as loyal to the truth.
Yes.
And when I heard that they recognize themselves even through the most everyday aspects that we see in the film, I remember that they talked about the sound of the bubbles and the physical experience of working in this environment, and they said that this was very accurate, and I was very pleased to hear that. And also children who dropped out of school and suddenly saw themselves and recognized themselves in scene. There's something powerful about seeing your personal story presented in a film, in this format of cinema, and to hear that people around the world found it interesting. So that was the most important thing for me.
All right, so we have finished our questions, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you guys
very much.
I will send you the link for my film, and I want to watch yours also.
Okay, so you send a lot.
Taiwan is island?
Yeah, Taiwan is an island.
It's an island.
Not very small. But it's not, it don't go to the beach every day.
It's not like in Miami.
No.
Thank you, and good luck. Wish you the best.
Yeah, with the next film.
Good luck with the festival.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.